Hi, this is Harish. I assume you are now familiar with different similarity measures mentioned from the slides above. I will now take an example of sample vectors that are part of the exercise and explain the respective similarity measures. I'll begin with cosine similarity. To calculate the cosine similarity, we need dot products of the vectors and their respective magnitudes. Cosine similarity is the result of dividing the dot products with the product of their magnitudes. For the vectors given here, the calculation shall be seen below. Here, the numerator is summed up to 0 and the denominator is summed up to 2, that is 1 plus 1. As the numerator is 0, no matter what the denominator is, the result shall be 0. Hence, the cosine similarity of given vectors x and y shall be 0. Correlation summary. To calculate the correlation summary, we need the covariance between the two input vectors and the standard deviation of individual vectors. Correlation similarity is basically the result of dividing the covariance with the product of standard deviation of two vectors. For the vectors given here, the covariance can be calculated as -1/3 and the standard deviation of x is 1/√3 and the standard deviation of y is also 1/√3. From the calculation here, it can be noticed that the correlation similarity of the vectors x and y is -1. Euclidean similarity. To calculate the Euclidean similarity, we first calculate the square root of sum of squares of the difference between the magnitudes of two vectors in different dimensions. For the vectors x and y, the calculation can be seen here. And the final solution is equal to 2. So the Euclidean similarity of the vectors x and y shall be derived as 2. Jakarta similarity. The Jakarta similarity index compares members for two sets to see which members are shared and which are distinct. It is calculated by dividing the number of members shared between two sets with the total number of members in two sets. For the vectors given, the number of members shared between the two sets is 0. Though the denominator here sums up to 4, as we have discussed earlier, the Jakarta similarity here shall be 0 because the numerator is 0.